Let's do this. What's up, guys? As you know, it's the debut episode of Pitch Off. Well, my episode, anyway. This is going to be my half. Nathan's probably already posted his. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited about it. So, let's dive in. So, we're pitching our versions of what the Fantastic Four could look like in today's modern MCU. So, let's get into it. I've got my story right here. And so we're gonna read it. We're gonna have some good times. And just at the end, leave comments down below. Give us a subscribe. Maybe even go check out our Instagram channel, bro. So we open up with a peaceful shot of the stars, panning down to an Arctic forest. Slowly, as we go through this forest, we're gonna come upon a man tucked between some rocks, frozen solid. He's embracing a boy who is barely alive, whimpering even. Suddenly, a gloved hand grabs the boy's arm and yanks him from the frozen man's embrace, who crumbles into chunks of ice. The boy is screaming, begging them in his foreign language to stop. Too bad the cold got your father. I was really looking forward to destroying that traitor, says the man whose glove is gripping and dragging the boy, throwing him in the arms of two other hooded figures who start to tie the boy to a wooden stake. The first man, who with a sinister smile pulls a lighter from his pocket. My only regret is that you escaped before we could make you watch me kill that abomination of a mother. The screams gave me such joy. The boy lets loose an unearthly roar, leaps out from his bonds before the men can pull them tight, grabs their heads in the air, and lets loose two blasts of green energy. The smoldering bodies fall to the snow. The remaining man, whose smile has now been replaced by horror and fear, turns to run, but the boy is already behind him with a small golden flash. Hold on. We were just following orders. We don't even know who you are. The boy smiles, almost with malice, and utters one word. Doom. Fade to black. Opening credits. Whatever that credit sequence can look like. Hopefully, knowing Marvel, they'll do something fun. Coming out of the opening credit sequence, we see a young Reed Richards rush into class, papers flying, glasses trying to fall off his face. Because of his papers, he ends up colliding into someone. Papers go flying. Reed's already apologizing. I'm so sorry. I suppose the first day at another new school always makes me frazzled. He looks over, and we are introduced to a handsome young man, same age as Reed. Oh, it's quite all right. Here. He hands Reed some papers. Reed can't quite place his accent. Victor, he says with a smile and a flourish. They end up going to the same class. We see scenes of Reed and Victor becoming good friends throughout the day, showing both that are obsessed with science. Scenes of Victor, Reed, and Reed's roommate, Ben Grimm, becoming good friends. Victor then later reveals that there is an experiment he's been working on to create an electromagnetic field strong enough that can create a tear in our dimension that can travel through. I'm not 100% on the terminology here, but this is just kind of the idea I'm going to throw out there. Reed offers to look over the math, and Victor blows him off, saying if he wanted an amateur to help, he would have Ben crunch the numbers. Ben and Reed get very upset, storming out of the lab, leaving Victor to attempt his experiment alone. Walking away from the laboratory, lamenting over Victor's ego, and how Reed had glanced at the math, and something seemed off. After some distance, a huge explosion is heard. Both bolting in a panic back to the lab. The pair see the whole place is on fire. Reed falls to his knees, devastated at the loss of his friend. We flash forward to them cleaning up the rubble. Cops talking to Reed and Ben. A body was never recovered. Although it's possible that with all the chemicals contained in the lab, when they were ignited by the blast, it could have caused complete vaporization. The cops are saying anyway. Reed stops while driving home in tears. Ben, I promise, I will always double check my figures. There's no way I could lose another friend to arrogance. So, quick flashes of scenes of the slowly moving into the future. Reed and Ben are graduating college, Reed meeting Sue as a group of friends huddle over a TV showing the first time the Avengers team up. Headline saying, a new kind of hero. Ben and Reed and Sue working on things in a lab together, clearly bonding. Ben and Sue's little brother Johnny meeting for the first time and instantly having an uncle and his favorite nephew kind of vibe. Reed and Sue out on a date, passing the Daily Bugle newspaper stand with headlines that read, in the wake of Ultron, Avengers, heroes, or menace. Scenes flash to more lab work between the four of them. Bickering and hard work is apparent. Should feel like a normal, loving family. They seem to be working on something that involves studying solar flares. A calendar in the background having a date circled and labeled launch day. Today's the day. Johnny comes running out of the hallway of the laboratory, a huge smile on his face. Sue is already up. Typing in a computer, looks up with a smile. Someone is excited. Is Ben up? Ben Grimm comes lumbering in from the kitchen with a bowl of Fruit Loops in hand. Yup. Just getting in some energy for the flight. Last thing I want to do is to ruin Reed's months of calculations with me passing out trying to find the plane. They finally find Reed, who is on the phone with the company that is funding their experiments, Oscorp, who is saying that according to the mission parameters that Reed himself set, they were postponing the experiment. Reed, obviously flustered, is poring over his notes, desperately searching for some data that he can use to change the company's mind. Sue, Ben, and Johnny are obviously taken aback, defeated, while the boys head back towards their rooms to sulk. Sue, still holding on to the hope that Reed will find something, approaches him and puts her hand softly on his shoulder. Come here. Reed stops his stressed flurry of searching and embraces Sue gently. They appear for a moment to be happy and at peace. After a short time, Reed breaks the silence. Sue, we need to fly today. This could be the last chance to record this specific kind of solar flare for another 200 years. But there's no way we can do it without Oscorp's help. If not now, then when? What? Reed, if not now, then when? We have worked for 5 years to get all the details just right so that you can record the data from a cloud that could potentially have information that could change humanity. So I'm going to ask you again, my love. If not now, then when? Reed smiles softly. You're not going to let me give this up, are you? Not on your life. Sue kisses Reed's cheek. Come on, hero. Let's go steal a rocket ship. Enter Johnny with a ski mask. Did someone say heist? Yo, Grimace, get your long johns. We're going on a heist. Cue heist music. Cheesy scenes of the four sneaking around the hangar. Think Krunk from the Emperor's New Groove. People obviously are trying to stop them, but they get on the plane and take off. The whole team is calling out data, making calculations as they thrust into the upper atmosphere. Okay, guys, we have T-minus 20 minutes till the storm is here. If we stay in the stratosphere, we should be protected. Ben's head whips around. I'm sorry, Reed, did you say should be? I thought all those years of research was to have certainty. Well, there's a lot of math involved here, Ben. There's a very small chance for error, though. We've planned for every possible outcome, Ben, I promise, chimed in Sue. A warning message blares across everyone's screens. Uh-oh, whispers Reed, but not softly enough for Ben. Uh-oh, what? A warning message with a laughing robot appears on all of the screens. The cloud is stronger than we anticipated and faster. It's here. Brace for impact. A blur of chaos as the solar cloud of energy hits the plane with incredible force, sending it sailing through the atmosphere. The four holding on for dear life as the ship swirls faster and faster, a glow seeming to take over the ship, slowly blinding everyone. Before the light envelops them, Reed catches eyes with Sue, tears in his eyes and all he can manage is to mouth, "I'm sorry." Cut to black. Here we get quick news clips of the plane smoldering in a forest somewhere in the U.S. Flashes of bodies on gurneys, sounds of hospital instruments, flurries of doctors' voices, desperate at first, but shifting to calm and assurance of survival. Cut to black. Silence. Reed wakes up with a start, breathing heavy and frantic at first, but as he takes in his surroundings, he calms. A nurse is in shortly to check on him and inform him that all 4 have survived, and it was a miracle that only 3 of them had come out relatively unharmed. Reed looks confused at first. 3? Who had been hurt? Due to his miscalculation? This of course works him up. He's demanding to be released, but the doctor comes in and puts him back under. We come back when everyone is released. Just Sue, Reed, and Johnny all appear normal. They're told Ben is to be waiting for them back at the lab. They pass a newsstand headline article that tells of the accident just 5 days prior. They finally make it back to the lab. Johnny rushes in. "Ben, where are you?" "I'm in my room, but stay away." Johnny begins arguing, desperately trying to see his buddy, but it's Reed, with much reserve, worried, that convinces Ben to come out of his room. A rock formation emerges from the room, as tall as a truck, turning away in shame, a face that vaguely looks like Ben Grimm hidden in shadow. Reed falls to his knees in horror. I know, I'm a freak. Hard mug to look at, huh? Sue and Johnny inch closer to try and embrace their friend, who they only minutes ago thought was dead. "My miscalculation caused this?" Reed asks with a quiver in his voice. I guess so. I was hoping you would have some answers there, Reed. Don't worry about the face, though. Never was that good looking. I'll do anything I can to fix this, Ben, I promise. Let's get you into the lab and start figuring things out." Sue and Johnny hug their literal mountain of a friend as tightly as they can. Reed goes to reach for the door, and his forearms stretch and shoot into the handle and crumbles like a bunch of wet spaghetti. Seemingly annoyed, Reed's only response is, "Well, that's just great." Cue montage of Reed and Ben discovering their powers in the lab. Sue being preoccupied helping Reed collect data. Johnny, of course, gets bored. Tells the others he's leaving. Going to go hang out with a friend. As the door shuts, we cut to Johnny making out with a model at some apartment. As things get heavy, the model comments on how warm Johnny is. "Oh, I'm just hot for you, baby." They get back to it. The windows begin to rattle, and both look up just in time for the wall to explode. Johnny's able to roll and protect his friend from the blast. Standing among the rubble in his underwear, Johnny is ready for whatever's coming. Steam coming off his body. A 7-foot-tall robot flies in through the hole. "Johnny Storm, it is time for your reckoning." I don't even know who you are, pal." Steam coming off Johnny is getting thicker. Through the smoke and rubble, Ultron comes to view. Eyes burning, Johnny reaches out to protect his friend just before he touches her. His arm ignites into bright orange flames. Ultron, the model, and Johnny all appear shocked. Ultron shakes it off and rushes him. Johnny, thinking fast, rolls and tries to punch with his flaming arm. Ultron jumps back from the heat, causing the punch to fly through empty air. Reaching to grab his friend with his other hand. "Come on, let's get out of here." Johnny's only answered with a shriek. Johnny whips his head to see his other arm has ignited and is burning his friend. Quickly releasing her, she passes out as Johnny steps back into shock. Ultron laughs and steps out of the hole he created. "Tell Reed I'm coming for him. He has a debt to pay, and I will collect." Ultron flies off, leaving Johnny freaking out, slowly being covered by more and more flames. "Reed, we have to talk." Johnny bursts into the lab in his now seared underwear. As the others recover from the shock of the sight of Johnny, he tells them what happened, and instantly Reed puts Johnny through some tests while he starts a search for all things Ultron. I have no idea why this Ultron would have anything to do with me. Didn't he try to drop a city on the Avengers? In a manner of speaking, yes, I did. booms a voice from the lab's speakers. "Where's that coming from?" yells Reed, rushing to his computer to try to get a hold on the situation, only to be met with a warning screen with a laughing Ultron saying the system is his. "Don't worry, what happened to Johnny was simply a warning. Something to announce my existence to the four of you. I have plans for you, Reed, and they will come soon enough. In the meantime, Ben, you're going to have to figure out how to move quickly, my friend. I have rigged a canister of cyanide to the water source of a nearby New York middle school. Let's play. You have 2 hours to find it and shut it down. Good luck." The voice cuts out and the warning message on all of the computers disappears. So here we'll just have like a 10-15 minute scene of like the four figuring out where the canister could be. It doesn't really matter where it is. The whole point of this is just to get the four out into the open. So let's just say they find themselves in a baseball field in a downtown middle school. The canister is just sitting in the center of the field, not connected to anything. Reed approaches the canister gingerly. Shortly after examination, they realize it's literally just milk in a glass tank. It's a trap. A blast erupts next to the decoy. Confused and dazed, the team look around. Through the smoke, again, Ultron floats gently, landing with a dull thud in front of the four. "Well, now that I have your attention, time to take care of some business." A yellow blast flies from the whip of his hand into Ben's chest, sending him flying. With another movement of his hand, a small goo flies from his fingers, hitting Johnny and cementing him to the batting cage behind home plate. Reed, shaking off awe and panic, stretches out to wrap Ultron, who quickly grabs the extending arms, holds them to the ground. A hole opens on his wrist, and staples go through Reed's stretched out arms. With a sinister smile at the screams of Reed, Ultron walks slowly to the pinned man. "Sue, run!" "It's really sad that you, Sue, seem to be the only one who wasn't affected. How unfortunate. No matter, it just means you have the distinct opportunity to watch me torture this egomaniac as I beat him senseless." Sue watches in horror as Ultron hits Reed repeatedly, tears in her eyes as Reed is punched in the face over and over. His face is doing that weird thing where it's kind of like deforming because of the stretch, raising his fist for one last blow. "I'm disappointed, Reed. I would have thought you would have had something figured out by now. It's almost insulting. After all these years, maybe you're not as smart as I thought you were. No matter. Time to die." As Ultron's fists begin to fall, Sue lets out a guttural roar, a final cry for help. But Ultron's fists do not meet Reed's face. They bounce off a clear, white force field. Ultron cocks his head to the side curiously, glancing at Sue, whose arm is outstretched, tears still on her face, just as surprised. Curious. I don't know how I could have missed that. Before he can take another step towards Sue, Ben's fist smashes into his face. Ultron drops to a knee from the impact, sinking slightly into the ground. "Alright, bud, that was a cheap shot. Why not pick on somebody your own size?" Ben throws several punches, some landing, others whiffing, because Ultron is definitely faster. Sue rushes and pulls the staples from Reed's arms, releasing him. "Reed, do you know this guy? I've seen news clippings of him, but that's it." "Well, he seems to know you. If y'all have done making up, I could use some help here." Ultron is starting to hit back. Ben's holding his own, but it's definitely a struggle. "Johnny, you should be able to heat up your body to burn off the goo." Panic seems to leave Johnny's face at the sound of Reed's voice, replaced with determination. "Come on, gotta heat up. Gotta turn this flame on. How do I turn this flame on?" Johnny's talking to himself as the others start to fight back. Come on, flame on, flame on! As he yells, flame explodes from his body, incinerating the cement and a good chunk of the cage at that. "Let's go!" Flying from the cage, he shoots a few blasts of fire, hitting Ultron, who looks up confused. The four line up. Johnny is hovering just above them, facing off against Ultron. Reed takes a slight step forward. "I don't know how you know us, what you think I could have done to brings such violence. Ben steps up next to Reed. But you're definitely messing with the wrong guys. Sue mirrors Ben. It's time to put an end to this. As admirable and fantastic your bravado appears, the four of you have gathered quite a bit of attention. Ultron sweeps his hand, and as the four look around at the crowd that has gathered, cops and citizens alike, a small gold portal opens up behind Ultron. I'm pleasantly surprised by you Fantastic Four, but Reed, your ego will be your undoing. Till next time. With a smirk and a wave, Ultron steps through the portal, and with a flash and a puff of smoke, Ultron is gone. The shock is apparent on the faces of the four, followed by a sigh of relief as the four start to collect themselves. An Oscorp van honks at them from the parking lot. The four rush through the crowd and into the back of the van that takes them back to the lab. What are y'all thinking? An Oscorp lawyer is yelling at the four. He's giving a speech about how basically because the accident happened on Oscorp's dollar, they are now Oscorp property and need to think more about what they do and how they present themselves. He's going on and on about how they'll have to find a way to hide their identities, which really, when he thought about it, wasn't that big of a deal because of something media scrubber. The four had stopped listening. Johnny hugs Sue tightly. They converse a short period of time about everyone having powers now, thanking Sue for the convenient timing of hers. There's a moment of quiet, and then Ben speaks up. So did you guys hear what the lawyer was saying? Do you think we'll be able to ever go in public? Johnny taps his back lovingly. Well, I don't know if you're ever going to not have trouble going in public anymore there, Grimace. Johnny, not the time. Sue glares at Johnny. No, a lot has changed in a short amount of time. Maybe we should talk about it. Reed stretches up his hand and grabs Ben's shoulder lovingly. Ben, I am so sorry that this has happened to you. You trusted me. You put your life in my hands. And now you're this thing. I will do everything I can to try and turn you back. Tears start to appear in the corners of Reed's eyes as Sue gently places her hand on Reed's forearm. All of you trusted me, and now your lives can never be the same. It is not fair of me to ask anything of you from this point on. If you want, just stay here at the Baxter lab, and I will do anything and everything in my power to turn you back to normal. That's really heartfelt there, Stretch, but we ain't going nowhere. We came this far, we can see it to the end. Ben gives Reed a hearty slap on the back, his new strength startling Reed. Slipping his arm around Johnny, Sue looks at him as a mother looks at her son. Johnny, you've been quiet. What's your take on all of this? Anyone who had gotten my powers would be super excited about them. Being able to ignite into flame, torching anything I want, being able to fly. But when I got my powers, I hurt someone. Unintentionally. I was trying to help. Johnny raises his face to meet those of the people he would consider family. Pain and determination written upon it. As much of an accident as our powers are, I have to believe we were given these powers for a reason. The accident that created us was supposed to provide information to help humanity. Well, what if it's our responsibility to use these powers to help humanity? We've been given a gift, but it's our responsibility to use it to help. Sue hugs her brother tightly. When did you get all grown up? Reed and Ben meet eyes. He's right, Reed. I may not be a fan of what I look like, but I'd still follow you anywhere. Might as well put these powers to good use. You're right, Ben. The four all hug each other tightly. After a quiet moment, Sue speaks up. So, what are we going to do about Ultron? After figuring out that Ultron emits a signal and being able to track him that way, which Johnny comments about, seems like it is stupid easy. After stealing yet another plane from the Oscorp hangar, the four head to a dilapidated castle in Sokovia. It would seem that Ultron hasn't gone far from where the Avengers had fought him. Reed begins to descend over a scorched forest to land in front of a crumbled castle. Place looks pretty grim. Johnny winks at Ben. Okay, wise guy, let's see how you talk with my knuckle in your mouth. Boys, focus! Sue straightens them out. Yes, ma'am. Johnny hits her with a fake salute. Okay, we're here. We have no idea what is waiting for us in there. So, be sharp. Reed lands the plane. Whatever you say, Mr. Fantastic, Johnny yells as he jumps out of the cargo bay door. Ben laughs. Gotta love the kid, huh? And charges out after Johnny. Sue leans up and kisses Reed's cheek and winks. Let's go get him, Mr. Fantastic. That's not gonna be my name, shouts Reed after her, sighs, and rushes after his team. They approach the door, a giant wooden gate with a massive lock. How are we? Before Johnny can even finish, Ben punches the lock hard, breaking the lock and the doors flying inward. Gotta be faster than that, fire guy. Johnny laughs. Oh no, Ben, you are definitely not in charge of the naming. Guys, slow down, there might be... Before Reed can even finish, a small version of Ultron blasts Johnny, knocking the wind out of him briefly. Ah, here we go, shouts Sue as more and more mini Ultrons appear out of the hallways and cracks in the stone. The fight is chaotic, and no one is on the right page. They are still discovering their powers. They get in each other's way. Johnny accidentally hits Ben with a blast of fire. Sue creates a force field to protect Reed, but it's a little not soon enough and accidentally knocks Reed down. Okay, team, we need to focus or we're not going to be here much longer. Reed picks himself up while swatting away a mini Ultron with a stretched out hand. Johnny, torch the ones on the walls. Mr. Fantastic, find a way to shut him down. Ben, do your thing. Sue starts using her fields to tear bots apart. Reed flips open his wrist computer and starts crunching numbers. They start communicating, effectively holding off the hordes of bots. Anytime now, Reed. Got it. Watch out. Reed hits a button on his wrist. An EMP blast radiates out of him, instantly shutting down the mini Ultrons. Everyone stops out of breath. Come on, let's find Ultron. Reed, pulling up a map on his wrist computer, starts leading the team deeper into the castle. The four make it to the heart of the castle. Hallway opens up to a large room with Ultron chilling on a throne of stone in the center. About time. I was almost disappointed in you four. Took too long with my army, but it's interesting watching how you four adapt. Ultron's voice echoes through the hall. Less talk, more fight. Johnny launches himself into the air, fully engulfed, throwing fireballs at the throne. Reed, throw me! What? Throw me! Reed stretches out and picks up Sue, launching her at Ultron. She shields up, crashing into the throne, throwing Ultron across the room. He rolls to his feet, but as soon as he gets up, Johnny hits him with a blast right before Ben smashes his fist into the stomach, throwing Ultron through the wall to the outside. More fighting. Ultron's fighting back. He's going to be letting loose lots of blasts from his hands. A couple are going to knock Reed on his back. Ben is trying to hold it fast, but he keeps getting pushed back until eventually he gets knocked down. Johnny he's gracefully dodging, but then he gets cocky as per usual and gets blasted, putting him on his back and out of flames. Sue is standing there, a force field in each hand, defiantly knocking away the blasts. I don't know what you want with Reed, but it stops here. Little girl, you can defy me all you want, but there's no stopping a well-laid plan. We'll see about that. Sue puts on a field around him and uses it to throw Ultron into the ramparts on the castle. You cannot delay the inevitable, little girl. Reed has you fooled. Free your mind from your heart, and you will be disgusted by his ego. Ultron is searching the ramparts for Sue. A force field appears on his ankle and yanks him. With a yelp, Ultron throws a blast of energy that just tails off into the sky. On one knee, Ultron growls in frustration. Stop playing, little girl. Stop calling me little girl. Sue appears from thin air in front of him, creates a field around her fist. Now! As Sue hits Ultron as hard as she can, Johnny flies in, shooting searing blasts, melting Ultron's legs to the stone. Ben and Reed grab an arm each, holding Ultron there. You can think you've stopped me, but there are strings attached. There are things on the horizon. Chaos, pain. I am but the beginning, the herald of an impending doom. Shut up, metalhead! Johnny shouts as he shoots one superheated fireball at Ultron's head, melting it instantly. Everyone collapses, feeling like they can finally rest. Johnny glances at his sister. Yo, you can turn invisible? We come back as the four get into the lab, dirty and tired from the beginning of their story, laughing and joking, all collapsing into chairs. Shortly, the lawyer from earlier bursts through the front door. Okay, because of your not approved adventure to Sokovia, the media is all over you guys. So, I've been instructed to give you guys a PR person. I just have to know what the four of you want to be called. They all look at each other. Johnny laughs. Sue winks at Reed, who smiles and looks at the lawyer, opens his mouth to speak. Cut to title. Fantastic Four. So then, of course, you hit the credits, and then it's a Marvel movie, so we gotta have an end credit scene. So it's just a shot. We'll just start with a shot of a dark stone throne room. A man who's reclining in a large throne. As we're gonna pan in, we see the rustle of dark green fabric and dark gray metal. A gloved hand comes into light with a glowing handset, and all we hear is impending doom indeed. Cut to black. Finish them credits. Lights come up. Time to go home, folks. So that's my pitch. It's not perfect. I am pretty proud of it, though. I think there's some really cool stuff to be had here. Obviously, I don't think this is going to be exactly how they bring them in. I actually recently rewatched Age of Ultron, and there's some details that happened in the movie that actually kind of threw my script off just a little, but I think we can finagle it and make it work. So what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Find us on Instagram. And don't forget to listen to the podcast every week, man. It's good stuff. All good times. And be sure to go check out Nathan's video as well, and like and comment and let him know what you think. And by all means, message us on our various platforms and let us know which one you liked more. So, until next time.